After the American Revolution, the U.S. wasn't just free from Britain, it was also free from British law. But here's the problem. What happens when you have independence, but no clear rules? In this video, we'll explore how American law developed after the Revolution, how the country moved from colonial legal confusion to a working system of courts, constitutions, and case law. Before the Revolution, American colonies followed British common law. After independence, that system didn't just disappear. Many states kept large parts of it in place at first, using it as a familiar foundation while they worked out their own rules. But now, the U.S. had to figure out how to create laws that reflected its own identity and values. To do that, each new state wrote its own constitution and passed its own laws. But without national standards, things got messy. Some states borrowed heavily from British law, while others rewrote their codes from scratch. However, that began to change in 1787 with the creation of the U.S. Constitution, which became the supreme law of the land. It set the framework for federal law, civil rights, and the role of the courts. 2 years later, the Judiciary Act of 1789 created a court system we still recognize today. Local federal courts, appeals courts, and one Supreme Court at the top. From those first steps toward a national system, the next chapter was about defining the court's power within that framework. Want to check your progress? Tap the link for a quick practice test and a concise study guide tailored to this lesson. Quiz yourself, skim the highlights, and jump back in. As the new federal system took shape, the Supreme Court's role continued to evolve, leading to one of the most important shifts in American legal history. In 1803, Marbury versus Madison made history. In this landmark decision, the Supreme Court claimed the power of judicial review, the authority to strike down laws that violate the Constitution. This turned the court into a true guardian of the nation's rules. Over time, law schools and courts moved away from relying on British precedents. American legal scholars began shaping a uniquely U.S. tradition rooted in liberty contracts and commerce. By the mid-1800s, laws weren't just abstract. They shaped everyday life, determining who could vote, who had property rights, and how justice was served. American law had come to reflect the country's values and its growing pains. So, to sum up, after the Revolution, U.S. law evolved rapidly, from colonial courts to state constitutions, to a federal system with checks, balances, and the power of judicial review. Ready to quiz yourself with the content covered in this video? Check out the link in the description where you'll find Quizlet content made just for you.